It could be more soon. Xiaotuji the fourth, an absolute massacre. Trying to slow this down. Can they get that gem back? It was actually picked up by R5. They're on the run. Backing catches out. SC, two heroes explode in a cloud of screams and pain. And now a burrow strike the other way. There's your ult. Oh my goodness, they're not done yet. Ultra kill for Air.
Not be able to get the angle on them, and hey, look, that's a TA.
She pops her BKB, she had a blink. Oh, she's going on the whisk, 2 shots, almost puts her down. But Demonic Perch slowing, and Xiaotuji is going to get snagged. The one hero that has the ult to stop that's going to be in trouble. And a 4-second stun, TA goes down. Rubik is well going to fall, and Leshrak running for his life, but all he's got is a Ghost Scepter, and that is not going to be enough here. Unless he pops it and keeps him alive for a couple more seconds, he's able to throw some damage, but he goes down. More fighting going on. Wisp, they trapped a Bat Rider.
But I do like at least 2 points of Shadow Strike. And look at Puck. This is really smart by him. He's at 0 chance of dying basically right now, and he's just gonna either force a glyph or get a free tier 1.
Whenever he feels like it.
Yeah, he could even go for that creep wave. Oh, there's Meg.
Magnus is mad. He's
Oh
like,
my
that was
god.
my tower.
Look at this Puck.
Oh, he grabs him. Is he gonna? Oh, he's on cooldown for everything. He's got Shockwave in one. Will he do it? Oh man, it gets juke. Can Puck stay alive? He blinks away.
There's a 4-staff.
And a 4-staff.
Oh, he orbs. Makes it he wouldn't have even if whoa.
They are ready for it. They are ready for it. There's a vacuum, there's an up here. He's going to catch 3 here. Dark's going to drop the wall here. This may be enough for the team on the right, the Rising Stars, but I don't think so. It's going to get turned around. Vici Gaming has already lost 3. Can the Queen of Pain turn this around? Zeus, MJ Game going to town with an entangle. Mofi hits the deck. Now onto the Darks here, as well as Keeper Light. Keeper Light's low. Keeper Light will go down. Queen of Pain with an ultra kill. Only one left. It's Xiaotuji. He's silenced up. Is there enough damage to bring him down? He's got no time left. He's going to get a Shikuchi out of this, but Queen of Pain saved that fight. They lost 3 right off the bat in that RP, but they turned it around so well.
That was as good as initiate as you're going to get.
Seed Watch is like, I've got this, I'm baiting you. Oh, he goes straight for an Impel, really smart fake for the Nexus, and Rubik is there with the blink. And easy, saves the fight. There's your Dream Call with a multiple hero waning rip, and now there's a double kill. Gyro probably comes 3 heroes killed. FY Rubik, man, that guy is a genius.
Jumping on the Morph lane, the Wisp CK are sitting there. There's a missile charged up that he doesn't whip from Dodge, so they're going to teleport on him. I think, yep, they're going right in. Yeah, but there's the counter gank. They're counter ganking. Throw strike lands on Crew with a great vacuum actually gets sealed ability. It's a level 2 called on great skill, and oh my gosh, look at that team fight swing. Vacuum into Burrow Strike, a call down on top of that, and an epicenter.
We're going to need to see some near flawless fights from Myth to come back into this.
Yeah, we've got Dragonite looking to initiate. He has an Invis rune. Who's he going to stun? It's going to be on top of the Clockwork. He goes in to prevent him. Oh, the BKB as well. This is a great setup for him. Burrow Strike lands on him, and that's going to be able to finish off Jay. I think, yes, they do grab him last second. Even Anti-Mage hitting for 200 damage or so. Stun comes through. Gyro goes down. 4 dead heroes on Vanessa.
again, he just has so much damage right now, and poor Xiaotuji is, I think, about to die up top.
Yep. Oh, silence. Right click, right click, right click. It's gonna be he's gonna get blinked upon here as well. So burn damage. He's gonna take the elastic.
It's just delaying the inevitable, man. Again, I just don't think that turtling is a winning proposition. You can hope for the Hail Mary and hope that you can get a 5-man RP and do like a huge mana void. But again, look at it. I mean, this Blink is just owning.
On the bot lane, the rest of the team smoked up, and if they do see somebody happening, RP into relocate would be pretty good. The Q is pushing out Butterfly is finished. Look at them, they see the mid. This is a prime jumping opportunity. Q3 support surge, vacuum, well, no vacuum up there, the vacuum will come through soon after, and the relocate come in. That is the triple that they're looking for. SD is dead. I didn't check in. Maybe it was on cooldown. Darkseer buys back. Gyrocopter has a buyback. Looks like he's going to just try to save it. And Xiaotuji is just a one-man army going to work right now. Looks like, oh, that's a nice spell by Arc. Oh no, that's an acid spray. That's a big one here to spell again. Xiaotuji is going to dump a stun. It's going to go on TNK. TNK just fought back. So if he dies here, that's it for him. In fact, it's going to be Xiaotuji going to be getting a rack. They're focusing. Glyph is going to get forced out these birds. Let's not forget, they do a significant amount of DPS as well. Here comes the TP from Gyrocopter. He's got to pop the BKB ASAP. He does. Call down's going to get dropped, and the Black Cannon begins. Blink dagger forward from Abbott, but the Gold Scepter looks like they lift him up, and where is the Xiaotuji? Is he turning back in? He doesn't have his ultimate just yet. Xiaotuji gotta be extremely careful. Lekels is gonna get picked off a second time. That's it. He does have buyback. He's gonna come back in. He doesn't have BKB though. He doesn't have BKB, and he does have Satanic though. So Rising Star, are they gonna balls up? Right, I think they should. They're gonna come back in. What is the courier doing it? These couriers are going YOLO mode. Etsy's gonna get picked up. Lekels gets scythed up. How many scythes have gone on Lekels? He's got Satanic, he's got to fight, he's gaining life, but look, these crits is not going to be enough. Abba's going to get them take off a second time, and is this the game? Xiaotuji going on Abba. Abba refraction not going to do the work. They have Discover R5, R5, R5.
That is a wipe!
That is a full team wipe, Xiaotuji says.
Rubik buys back, but wow.
Rubik buys back, and that will force him off the tier 4, and they call the GG.
Looks like a 4 Chinese team winners playoff.
What is going on? What a spectacular finish of Group B. Xiaotuji.
Well, things got a little more interesting in Group B. Myth Trust, Rising Stars had a hell of a fight there at the end. They took it to the distance, and boy, were those some good games.
Yeah, they really were. It was really fun watching the Pinoy teams, especially, and even Myth Trust. They had a little bit less conventional styles, but made for some really fun games, I thought.
Yeah, Mineski played well, hats off to them, and Myth Trust, well, it was a bit of a sad story for the only non-Chinese teams who looked like they had a real shot of making it to the playoffs. They came so close in that last game.
They did.
But couldn't quite go the distance. Vici Gaming, on the other hand, LD Luminous, they just completely dominated the tournament.
They really did. They made it look easy. You look at that matchup versus Rising Stars, CTY. I know people say we overuse the term snowball, but that was the absolute textbook definition of snowball.
We need to look at synonym to find a different one for snowball, because we do say it from time to time too much.
He acquired maximum velocity, maximum momentum.
There you go.
Exponential growth.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Vici Gaming arguably had the quote-unquote easier group, and let's see how they're going to perform here after they come on to this second stage. I'm personally a little bit sad that Myth Trust didn't get to move on, because I feel like they have more interesting strategies. They also have more interesting carries. They're the team that's not afraid to bust out Morphling right now. Like,
I would disagree on one thing. I think Vici Gaming had the harder group. I think they just played more convincingly. I think their group was much more balanced all around. Group A had LGD as well as Rising Stars, but I think the two bottom teams, First Departure as well as Dreams, were just a bit weaker.
Yeah, sure, you had First Departure with that upset, but, I mean, let's be honest, that was just not the best performance from Rising Stars, and I do feel Rising Stars is the clearly sort of weaker team out of these four. That's what the group stage performance suggested, but I do look at that second place match, or even first and second. I feel like Rattlesnake, Vici Gaming, LGD, these three teams, I could see all three of them finishing first in the group.
Yeah, they definitely can, and it comes down to kind of your decision making. A lot of it comes down to draft as well. I feel like Rising Star and Rattlesnake has more interesting draft to talk about, whereas Vici Gaming and LG go a lot more standard.
Vici Gaming may draft standard, but when you have CTY going mid, it's always going to be interesting.
Definitely.
And you have to remember with this team, we did see ZSMJ play Storm, so it's not that they're completely afraid to experiment. they maybe just did it a little bit less often in those particular qualifier matches. But they'll have tougher opponents now, so God's Purge, I mean, maybe we'll see some different picks from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of tougher opponents now, let's take a look at our schedule for today, because we're now here at the playoffs. 4 teams remaining, and it's 4 Chinese teams. LGD versus Rising Stars up first. That game starting in the next 5-10 minutes. Vici Gaming then take on Rattlesnake in what promises to be a game between 2 of basically the next tier of Chinese teams after your Giants, LGD, DKIG. These are the 2 teams, your sort of 2 and 3 seed in my eyes. Rising Stars is just that little step below. We'll take a look at how the bracket comes down here and how things pan out, but as far as today's games, I mean, LGD, do you think they'll be given much of a challenge, and how do you see things in the second matchup?
Well, considering how G1 League went, LGD ended up placing second, if I'm not mistaken, right? And that's against the best teams in the world, so I'd be personally really surprised if LGD didn't go all the way through. I think they're definitely the safest bet here, and I know that the other teams are fantastic, but, I mean, you can't just get second in G1 League and not do super well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. As for second match, Vici Gaming versus Rattlesnake, I think it's going to be Rattlesnake's unconventional play versus Vici Gaming's amazing individual talent. Do you give either team much of an edge there?
I felt pretty consistent with Vici. They looked pretty good. They had trouble that one game that I casted where breaking the base, but they still took a good lane advantage and they picked pretty decently. They relied on Lifestealer a lot, and ZSMJ I thought did pretty well. So I would say probably I would go with Vici. I think they're 2-1 maybe.
LD, Luminous, as far as playoffs expectations, any big teams you're looking out for? Do you think any of these other teams can give LGD a run for the money, or is it just going to be a fight for second place?
I personally have my eyes on Vici Gaming because you look at this team, CTY pretty much wins his lane every game. At worst, he breaks even in a matchup where he's maybe a bit disadvantaged. I haven't seen him lose his lane yet, at least not as of late. So I look at Vici Gaming, I see the rest of the team, even players like XTT, Fenrir, FY, they've been playing exceptionally well. For me, I'm interested how ZSMJ is going to do because I feel like for a player that's such a legend, for a player who's had such great performances, many of which you've casted in the past, Lumi, he's been all right. He hasn't been exceptional, and I feel like they'll have to bring all 5 players at top form if they want to take down Rattlesnake.
Yeah, well, I'll focus on ZSMJ later. I just, in short, don't feel like the current metagame really fits his farming style.
Right.
He's playing things like Lifestealer, Stormsurge, who doesn't go 80 minutes.
He'd rather farm.
Yeah. But to answer God's question, I feel like Rising Star actually has a decent chance. I won't go to say that they will take it, but maybe they'll take a game simply because of the rest that you guys talked about. You have 3 or 4 days. You have a ton of replays to watch from LGD against vastly different playstyle against vastly different picks.
So there's more tape on them.
Right. They have a whole bunch of time to prepare for a strategy, practice that strategy. Even though it's a best of 3, I mean, they might actually pull something out here.
Yeah, they'll be ready for we've seen some Kunker picks from LGD throughout the G1 League, as well as other styles of play. The Darkseid plus Spectre duo that they were running a bit with the Spectres when they carries the Darkseid to put the Iron Shell, use the Surge, and basically vacuum ulting them if they group up, Spectre own them if they split up. So it's definitely a matchup which I agree. Rising Stars has had more time to prepare, whereas LGD, they've been traveling to Shanghai for the G1 LAN finals. They now had to travel back to their home camp. It's going to be a lot tougher for them to transition. So LGD is Rising Stars. Let's introduce our 2 teams here to kick things off. We're going to have LGD and Rising Stars, 2 teams from China. LGD, here we go. Sylar, your main carry player, known for, well, all of his hard carries. There they are, Anti-Mage, Luna, Lone Druid. Your solo mid player, generally your solo mid player, Zhao Wei, known for his Beastmaster, Enigma, Spectre.
Could even throw the Kunkka in there.
Yeah, at this point, after some of these G1 League heroes, we see a bit of a change here. Yao, my personal favorite, playing a lot of mag. Sometimes we see him even go to that solo mid role with the mag. Nature's Prophet and Invoker, 2 of these other known heroes. And then we have the 2 supports. DDC pulled out quite a couple of Earthshakers in the G1 LAN final, so maybe we'll see some more of that come out. Leshrak, one of his stable supports. And then finally, the man who's recently rejoined the teams was actually complaining on his Tencent QQ or whatever, the Chinese Twitter, about not having enough practice, not having enough tournaments for the Chinese scene. He's the hard support player for this LGD team, and well, when all comes together, they're a very well-polished team. They've got some high rankings there, especially after a strong G1 League performance, and we'll see how they do fare up against Rising Stars. Kevin, why don't you introduce them?
All right, so if we take a look at their opponents, it's going to be Rising Stars here. Zhao Tuji is going to start things off, playing the 1 position, Lone Druid, Juggernaut, Anti-Mage, common heroes for him. Next player up is Air. He's from Chengdu. Do you know where that is? Because I sure don't.
Somewhere China.
But he plays the mid role, and he's pretty young, from 91, okay. 3rd position here, we've got Mofi playing typical long lane heroes. Not too surprising to see Jug and other heroes like that into the draft. He listens to music, probably the only person that does that, I think.
Really unique fact.
Really
Apparently this one does too.
And XDD, Movies. Wow.
We
I'm
should have
blown
been
away.
looking at LGD's fun facts because they had some good ones.
Did they? I missed those.
Yeah, we're spending all the time on the ones that didn't give us any.
And finally, Super playing the 5 role, but actually looks like he is good at Chen as well as Enchantress. So
Yeah.
He's
His favorite
been playing those.
movie is some romance movie. I can't quite read. Things Like First Love.
Wow.
Has anyone here seen that movie?
Is that his birthday? It said 1980. I'm sorry to sidetrack.
I think that's
Is
a
that-
typo. I
Okay.
think it's 1990.
I was gonna say, man,
Yeah.
guy's old.
As far as Rising Stars, you can see low in experience, and I think one of their actual carry player, he's born in 1994 or 1995. He's actually really young, a new player to the
Wow.
scene. But this team, they've had some decent games. They really got pushed to the limit against Mythcrust, and sure, they lost. They dropped a game here and there, but I feel almost like getting challenged is good for the long term. It means going up against LGD, they can say, well, we've had tough series. We're ready to deal with them. Anyways, that pretty much concludes things for our pregame here. It looks like the teams, the players are mostly ready. We'll have one last predictions. LGD, Rising Stars. Do you see Rising Stars taking a game or even the series, Kevin?
I'm gonna say 2-0 for LGD because they did look really strong at the G1 League. I would definitely say 2-0. I would be a little surprised if they got a game off of them.
All right. LD, Luminous, thoughts on this series?
I feel like for Rising Stars, they need a pocket strategy, and this is a team that loves to run their Wisp. They're known for solo mid-Wisp. We didn't see much of it in the qualifiers, but maybe if they can get a Wisp pick, maybe they take a game. I think if you're LGD, you're just going to ban it out and say, you're going to have to beat us straight up, and I don't see Rising Stars doing that. 2-0 for LGD for me as well.
They might just not respect ban and just like, oh yeah,
Maybe
only
they feel they
Western,
don't need
yeah,
to.
only Western team know how to play. So, going back to what I said before, I feel like because there's so much tape on them, they could get a prepared strat and maybe take that one game. So, still though, 2-1 LGD.
All right, fantastic. I think LGD, they definitely take the series. I think Rising Stars at best take one game, which is maybe with a pocket strategy, something like the Wisp you mentioned. I think LGD have proven that they can use a number of strategies at G1. Sure, Rising Stars have had some time to prepare, but I feel like LGD can just pull out almost anything and pull it off really, really well. But guys, the teams, the players are ready. Everyone in the lobby is looking like we're good to go. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back in about 1 minute's time, we'll be back with your first match of today for the TI3 Eastern Qualifiers. LGD China taking on Rising Stars.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our first match of the evening. It's going to be LGD China versus Rising Stars. Your winner's bracket, round one match. Loser of this series, they're not eliminated, but they drop down to the loser's bracket. Only 2 teams advance out of this phase to your grand finals to be held in 2 days' time. I'm LD, joined here by Lumi. Lumi, wouldn't have anyone else here by my side.
Thank you.
Good to have you, buddy.
That makes me feel good. It's gonna be LG here on the on the dire side, starting on the best of 3 series. Rising Star on the Raiden. I feel like dropping down to the loser bracket doesn't mean as much in this particular tournament. I mean, if you're gonna have to win the thing, you have to beat everybody. That's including the grand finals, which 2 days from now.
Sure, 2 teams advance.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, if you make it out of this round, you do get to go to Seattle, but it's one thing to get to attend the big dance. It's another thing to actually get to compete in it.
Right, and also that's 3 months of like, are we really in TI? That's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
There's Mouseboard waiting on the other side, and they're no slouch as a team.
The one thing is, you get to prepare
DD, sorry.
You get
Did I say
to
mouse?
yeah, you know who you're playing, so you talk about preparation. If preparation makes a difference here for Rising Stars, well, let's say they make it as your second place team.
Sure.
They now have 3 months to prepare for one opponent.
Right. Well, let's try to get ourselves in the game. If there's people loading in it.
Yeah, seems like we might not have loaded yet.
Yeah.
So, Lumi, you made your prediction. You think Rising Stars, they'll actually take a game off of LGD, but you don't think they'll take the series. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I just don't think so. I feel like the individual skill level of the players are a lot better on the LG side. They have a ton more experience. They've been in high stakes situations. They know how to recover from kind of like awkward timing. If you do like a level 1 roadshow, they will kind of just draw the game out and recover. They just have a ton of weapons from heroes. We've seen Kunka, talked about previously. They just seen it all. So I feel like
So you give me all this. I agree with you. How is Rising Stars going to take this game? Take one of these games, I should say. Someone's waving at us. People are waving at us. Okay. We have our group standings here. I'm not sure what's going on, Lumi, but yeah, we do have our group standings. So you see how the teams finished through the groups. We'll actually won't load this first game, so I'll have a quick reload here. But I mean, for LGD, it was a smooth and easy run for their group. 2-0. I never really felt like they were stressed or really put to the test by Rattlesnake or any of these other teams.
Yeah, and that's you expect them to have that performance. And going back to that group again, they were winning harder and harder. It seems like in every single match. So either they figure out the opponent on the second game, or they're just getting better and better as a team. Maybe a combination of both.
Yeah, guys, we'll have a quick reload here. Hopefully, game 1 will get underway pretty soon. Apparently, we need to kick somebody who isn't loading, but we'll get that sorted out. So, Lumi. It's going to be a long night. We have 3 best-of-3s coming up after this match. It's going to be Rattlesnake versus Vici Gaming. I'm excited for that one. Vici Gaming is kind of my personal favorite team just because CTY is such an exciting player to watch.
Well, on your compendium, it said otherwise.
I had Mineski and Dreams, Pinoy Pride, Ubosian, but they did go home in the end.
Unfortunately.
Gods was mentioning to us that actually Mineski's been beating some good teams in Scrim. So I feel like their team, if they can stick together, maybe we see them come back next year and squeak in through a qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm known for that Pinot Flame, but I definitely respect their team. Unfortunately, they just wasn't able to make it to the group. And
we'll have a quick remake, guys, by the way, so sorry for the delay. Should be getting started soon.
Is it surprising to anybody here that 4 Chinese team made it through? Again, I'm a little bit sad that Myth trusted it, but I think a lot of us expected 4 Chinese team to make it through.
Well, I think we all predicted Chinese domination. My predictions were not very good for the G1 League. I think I failed every single one, but, well, we got this one right, and I guess it was pretty easy to predict that. After the way that Myth Trust and First Departure played on day 1, I actually thought they had a chance to squeak through, but push came to shove. They just couldn't get the job done.
Yeah, that's why best of 3 series are a little bit... I personally enjoy them more.
Yeah, G1 League, they were operating with time constraints. So I actually like the fact they did best of 1s because it gave us every possible matchup. You bring in these 6 teams from, in some cases, around the world. You want to get all those matchups.
Sure.
Downside, of course, is only best of 1s, but for me, it was worth it.
Yep, definitely so. But looks like we're going to get our loan. We do apologize for the delays and whatnot.
Yeah.
That never happens here.
No, we don't have
Or
delays.
anywhere,
We're
yeah.
immune. We're allergic to those.
Yeah.
This was all part of the plan, guys. We just wrote the wrong time, so you'd show up early because we like seeing your pretty faces, or you've seen ours anyway. Speaking of which, I mean, we're clearly the more attractive pair, so.
That's for sure.
Yeah. 2 Davids, better than 1. No stash.
I see facial hair on you, okay?
Yeah,
I think it will take me like 15 years to grow a similar stash to...
You're working on it.
I'm working on it right now, yeah.
The problem is, while you're working on it, you just have that, like, 13-year-old boy who doesn't want to shave because he's proud he has a mustache look, and
have like that
ain't a good look, guys.
Pedo slash. But,
we'll have another load here, Lumi. Hopefully the game gets underway. Got any jokes for us?
No, you gotta turn it to... I haven't heard Purge crack a joke yet on camera.
Yeah, we brought him here for his deadpan humor. Purge, take it away.
Let's go.
What? I made a joke not 2 minutes ago. Didn't you guys see when I was going
He's
through
not
the
taking
cards?
it away.
What?
What was your joke? Confusing us?
What, you just want me to, like, you're just going to, like, shift the camera to me and be like, tell us a joke. It's going to be really funny, guys.
There you go.
That's what we did to
lamest-
Merlini.
right
He
now.
delivered.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get away from me.
Ben Wu
Put me on the
had it.
spot. Bunch of bullshit.
Then we had them prepared.
We'll try load number 2. It looks like it may be a swing and a miss, but we'll see.
Are we operating on the Perfect World server for the rest of the day? 'Cause it's all Chinese games.
Yeah, all Chinese games the rest of the way. You should be very proud of your countrymen.
Well, I'm not proud of the Perfect World server because it's never actually perfect.
I don't think it's actually the server's fault.
All right. Looks like we're all good.
Well, we're in. Guys, game 1. Underway. Here we go. LGD China versus Rising Stars. This one a best of 3. Winner of this match goes to your winner bracket finals. By the time today is done, we'll have one team that is going to Seattle, guaranteed a top 2 finish. First place team is in the big dance. The second place team, they go to your wildcard match. We won't find out who that second place team is until tomorrow. I'm LD. He's Lumi. Lumi, very quick bans here from Rising Stars. They've had some time to prepare.
Yeah, we talked about being able to prepare for LGD, and look at that, Kunkka being first ban. I've not seen this first ban for 3-4 years now. It used to be a first ban material, but Shadow Demon, the other hero. Now the big question for us is whether LGD Gaming respect that Wisp enough to ban it out on the first stage. I'm not sure whether Rising Star will actually pick up on the first stage. Traditionally, they pick up second and third.
No respect. And I feel it would be a bit of a trap for Rising Stars not to take the Wisp, but to take it as a first pick. Because LGD, I mean, we've heard AOI say Wisp is a hero that there's really no counter for, and you give it away, you're asking for trouble. I agree if a team's perfect with the Wisp and really knows how to use it. Rising Stars, I haven't been convinced that their Wisp is quite at that level.
Yeah, maybe, well, who knows what they've been doing these last 3 days.
True.
Maybe they've just been solo queuing Wisp all day, but...
Eating their spinach, eating their Wheaties.
There you go.
Getting ready for the biggest Dota match of their lives.
I like Darkseer as an opening pickup here because he's a very safe laner. He loses generally to only Lone Druid, and that Lone Druid needs to play very well. By picking up Darkseer early, though, you also take away a hero that LG loves to play. They love to use their Darkseer Spectre combo quite a bit early on, and when you take away the Darkseer, you basically eliminate that Spectre choice as well. So
there's a lot of options for this LGD team. We're now looking at probably a Sylar Lone Druid as well as a Yao Mag. If they want to grab both of those, they can. There's also the Nyx Assassin for Xiao 8. They'll go for that instead. So if Rising Stars want the Mag, they can have it. But that's 2 AoE initiators that need a lot of farm, a lot of levels to have a big impact.
Yep. Great counter pick here from LG Gaming. Nyx Assassin just kind of shreds Darkseer apart simply because his mana pool is very intensive during team fights, especially when he's using mech and pipe and whatnot. Of course, I talked about Lone Druid, how it could actually match up favorably against the Darkseer. It depends on how the creep skipping goes, it depends on how pulling goes, but there is that Wisp early from Rising Star and a Dragonite. So we're setting up some kind of big kind of AoE team fight and a lot of early game ganking as well. Now, for LG Gaming, Lone Druid is a hard hero to gank, simply because he has the ultimate form. Nyx Assassin is annoying to gank as well because of Vendetta, so I don't feel that LG Gaming is in big trouble yet, even against the Wisp, and like you said, it comes down to how well Rising Star plays that Wisp.
Well, so we'll take a look at our lanes here. Dragonite, we see him go mid pretty much every game.
Right.
For LGD, generally it's a solo mid Nyx for Xiao 8. It could be a safe lane or support Nyx, but generally it's been solo mid, so we'll assume it's going to be there. Dragonite versus Nyx, pretty even lane. Both heroes are going to battle Crow, just try and get their level 6 as quickly as possible. Good news is, if Nyx leaves the lane, that's where Dragonite can push the tower, and like you said, he's not that easy of a gank, so I think given the lane so far, those look okay. Then you look at Lone Druid versus Darkseer. Matchup where Darkseer should do pretty well, especially if he's creep skipping. Sylar should get a lot of farm. We've seen what happens when you try to dive Sylar early at the tower. That I wouldn't recommend for Rising Stars, but just in terms of having an offlane Darkseer who can get levels and farm, if it's that 1v1, I think they'll be okay.
I mean, there's a possibility that Nyx Assassin doesn't go mid. We talked about how the matchup... Yeah, there's going to be some offensive trialing seemingly coming out from LGD. We saw Visage do a ton of work.
Yeah, 18. I believe he's 18-3 right now. If you combine G1 League as well as the Eastern qualifiers, 18-3.
Yeah.
Now, stats only mean so much, but come on, that's a ridiculous win rate.
18-3?
18-3.
I saw on DotaAcademy.com, shout out to Bruno's website, that it was 80%, but 18-3 sounds even better than that.
These are specifically for those 2 tournaments.
Okay.
I think Bruno's site, I'm not even sure if it has them listed.
I think it's like last week or something. But in any case, it's a very, very powerful hero. Combines very nicely with Nyx Assassin. And against Wisp, you generally want to pull him out of a team fight as soon as possible by killing him. And Soul Assumption is probably the best nuke while doing so. LG, though, they need to pick up some more kind of long-range spells. We saw them use a lot of Jakiro as well as Earthshaker during the G1 LAN final, so let's see if they're going to be going back for that.
And I think this is a great band.
The research is right here, Rising Star.
You'll see it. It's the sniper tri-lane. That's what you get. You run the Visage, Earthshaker, Twin-Headed Dragon, you throw down a Fissure, you follow up with Ice Path, Soul Assumption's there, and Wisp, if she doesn't die to that, well, she goes and she pops all her regen.
Meanwhile, they're banning themselves quite kind of harder to kill semi-carry, so it's actually a very high possibility they want to go for kind of nuke-heavy trialings. Weaver very good against that type of lineup because of time-lapse, as well as all you really need is to pick up a Cloak or a Vid Booster, and you're fine. But they will take that one out themselves.
Yeah, let's see what LGD do the rest of the way. They could go aggressive trialing like you mentioned. Generally, I've seen the Nyx go mid, doesn't have to though. So aggressive trialing is an option, defensive trialing is an option. We'll see what that final pick is for them if they decide to tri-lane it with these 3. If not, they'll need 2 more tri-lane heroes. We know Sylar will play the Lone Druid. He pretty much always goes safely, and they don't offlane this here. Once in a while, he'll go mid. And they could send it mid versus Dragon Knight, but I feel you can get away with something like a Nyx there.
Yeah, I almost feel like LG Gaming is actually forced to go offensive trialing. I think, yeah, you can put the Lone Druid on the top or on the Suicide lane, and he definitely can handle lane.
They just don't do that, though. I don't think I've ever
Right.
seen them off lane.
They
Lone
don't
Druid.
do that, and doing that against Wisp means you forfeit his level 6. Like,
Yeah,
you give him a level 6 for free.
You get relocate, no
Right.
problem.
Yeah, and I don't think you win that game. And of course, Sylar is a player that does so well with farm. So you just want to give him that protect the lane. So it seems like it's